Brianne here from Hooked on Homemade Happiness. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am going to show you how to crochet the braided cable stitch. So this is more of an intermediate stitch. It is on the easier side of the cable stitches, and I think that an ambitious beginner could probably tackle this stitch. All you need to know is how to double crochet, single crochet, and treble, front post treble crochet. And I will be showing you how to do those stitches in this tutorial as well. So let's go ahead and get started. For this stitch I'm going to be using a worsted weight yarn. This is Brava worsted weight from Knit Picks, but you can use any worsted weight yarn that you would like for this stitch, and an H 5mm crochet hook. So let's go ahead and get started by getting our hook on our yarn, or our yarn on our hook rather. And then we're going to chain any multiple of 6 plus 4 more. So I'm going to chain 28. 24 will be my multiple of 6, so you chain any multiple of 6 and then add 4 more to the end. So I'm going to be doing a chain of 28. So here is my starting chain of 28, and for row 1 for this stitch we're just going to do a row of single crochet. So I'm going to start in the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to count these back loops here. Here's my first chain, here's my second chain. I'm going to insert my hook into that second chain and work my single crochet, and I'm going to do that all the way across my chain. So here is row 1, just a row of single crochet. So for row 2 is just a row of double crochet. So I'm going to chain 2. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch, and neither does the chain 1. I'm going to turn my work, and because this chain 2 does not count as a stitch, I'm going to work my first double crochet in this very first stitch right here. And then double crochet across. My last double crochet of the row, and there's row 2, a row of double crochet. Now my next row is going to be another row of single crochet. So I'll chain 1 and turn, and since the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, I'm going to start my first single crochet in this very first stitch right here, and just single crochet across. And then the next row after that, then we'll get started with our cable stitches. So here's my last single crochet of row 3. And now for the next row, for row 4, now we're going to start getting into that cable braid stitch. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, and I'm going to double crochet in this very first stitch. Now I'm going to do a front post treble crochet in the next stitch, but I won't be doing it in the single crochet from the previous row. I'm going to be working in the double crochet row before this single crochet right here underneath. So I'm going to yarn over twice for my treble, and I'm going to insert my hook around the entire post of this next stitch. So here's my first double crochet, and that's of this row, row 2, and that's where this first double crochet lines up with. Here's the next one. I've yarned over twice. I'm going to insert my hook around the entire post of this second double crochet. So I'm going to go through the back and then back around to the front. So the entire post is being pushed forward. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there's my first front post treble crochet. Now I'm going to double crochet in the next single crochet. And I really need to be careful that I actually do skip a stitch, because I worked the front post treble crochet and I don't want to then double crochet in the next single crochet. I need to make sure I'm skipping one, because I've already worked this stitch down here. And if I worked my double crochet in the very next single crochet that's open, then I'd be adding stitches to my row, and I don't want to do that. So right here is the next single crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook right here into the next single crochet, and work my double crochet. So I've worked 3 stitches so far, and you could see behind that that single crochet right here remains unworked, and it should stay that way because we did work a stitch there, just not necessarily in this single crochet. It's worked in this row down here. Now we're going to do the braid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to skip this next stitch. So we're doing another front post treble in this double crochet row here. So I'm going to skip this next one, and I'm going to do a front post treble here. So I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to insert my hook around the post of this stitch and work my treble crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to leave this one skipped for now. So now I'm going to work into the next one. Yarn over twice, insert my hook around the entire post, and work my treble crochet. So pull up that loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to go back and work in this skipped stitch, this first one that we skipped. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to hold on to these so that I don't get mixed up. They don't get mixed up in what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold on to them, and I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to go back, going this way, and insert my hook around the entire post of that skipped stitch, and yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you have this one front post treble crochet crossing over the other 2. Now I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. Again, I should have 3 because I just worked 3 stitches right now, I should have 3 unworked single crochet. So here's where my last double crochet, 1, 2, 3 unworked single crochet. My double crochet will go in this next one right here. So there you have the first little cable braid. Now I'm going to front post treble in the next stitch, in the next double crochet from below my previous row. So not this one, but right here. You yarn over twice, insert my hook around the entire post, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Oh, look at that, a happy little knot in my yarn. Isn't that lovely? We'll just keep going. So I did my front post treble crochet. Now I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. Again, I should have 1 unworked single crochet and work a double crochet in the next. Now I'm going to do another braid. So I'm going to skip one. I'm doing those front post trebles again. I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to do a front post treble here. I'm going to do them in 2 consecutive stitches. So there's 1, and then I'm going to do another front post treble in the next one. So yarn over twice, insert your hook around the entire post, and work that treble crochet. Now I'm going to go back and work in that unworked and that skipped stitch. So yarn over twice, I'm going to go in front of these stitches, and work around the entire post and work my treble crochet. Now I'm going to double crochet in my next stitch, and I always still like to make sure I'm skipping, leaving 3 of the single crochets unworked, because I definitely don't want to be adding stitches to my work. And then I'm going to repeat that all the way across. So you'll do the front post treble, double crochet, braid, double crochet. So I'm going to do another front post treble for my next stitch. So down here, I'm going to yarn over twice and work my front post treble crochet in this double crochet row. And then double crochet in the next. Now I'm going to work my braid. So I'm going to skip 1 and front post treble in the next 2. Oops, let's try that one again. Now I'm going to go back and work in that skipped stitch. So yarn over twice, working in front of these 2 stitches you just worked. Insert your hook behind that entire post and work your treble crochet. And again, double crochet in the next. Okay. Now front post treble in the next double crochet from the double crochet row below. Double crochet in the next. Always checking to make sure I'm leaving the correct number of single crochets unworked, so I'm not skipping or adding stitches to my rows. Now I'm going to do another braid, so skipping the next double crochet, I'm going to work in the next 2. Work that front post treble, and then again in the next, yarning over twice, insert around the entire post, and working that treble crochet. Now going back and working into that skipped stitch. So yarning over twice, going in front of your work, and working the treble. Now my last couple stitches here, I'm going to double crochet in the next. Oopsies, I think I skipped an extra. Yeah, there we go. That's better. And then a front post treble here in the next stitch. And double crochet in your last stitch. And there is row 1 for the cable braid stitch. So now, or not row 1, but row 1 of working the cables. We're actually in row 4. So for row 5, we're going to work a row of single crochet. So now for row 5, I'm going to work just a row of single crochet. So chain 1 and turn. And that chain 1 doesn't count, so I'm going to start in this very first stitch here with my first single crochet. And I'm going to single crochet across my row. Here I have my first cable, so I need to make sure that they're laying a little bit flat, and single crochet in each one. Okay, it's my last stitch of the row. And as you can see, this stitch is one-sided. Your texture is not going to come up at all on the back side. So this stitch is kind of, it is a one-sided stitch, so just keep that in mind if you're using it for a blanket or something like that. So now for our next row, it's going to be a lot like row 4 with a little bit of differences because we're going to be working into the treble crochets now instead of the double crochets. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. And again, I'm going to start with a double crochet in my very first stitch. Now I'm going to be working again a front post treble crochet, but I'm going to be working it around the front post treble crochet from the previous row, the row below the previous row, I'm sorry. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to insert my hook around the entire front post treble crochet that I had from row 4 and work my treble crochet. And then double crochet in the next. Now for my braid, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing that I did in row 4. I'm going to skip this one right here, and I'm going to work first into this middle one. So I have my 3 front post trebles from row 4, all like this. I'm going to skip this first one, and I'm going to start here in the middle. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and you kind of move things around and get your hook in there. And insert your hook around the entire post and work the treble crochet. And then again in the next stitch. So yarn over twice and work in the next treble crochet. Now I have this skipped one. I'm going to work now a front post treble crochet around my skipped stitch. So I'm going to yarn over twice. And again, I kind of move things around. I'm going to work in front of the 2 stitches I just made and work around the entire post of that skipped stitch and work my treble crochet. So that is what we should have. We're going to be having kind of these diagonal lines, so it's going to look a little bit like a braid. And then I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. Again, making sure that I have the correct amount of stitches unworked at the top of my work. And front post treble in the next. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to work this front post treble from the treble crochet from row 4. So inserting my hook around the entire post, work a treble crochet. And then double crochet in the next. So again, here's my next braid. I'm going to skip the first one and work a front post treble here in this middle one from row 4. So yarn over twice, insert your hook around the entire post and work your treble. And then again in the next one, yarn over twice and insert your hook around the post of the next treble crochet and work your stitch. And now here's my skipped one way over here. I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to work in front of these 2 stitches I just made. Insert my hook around this entire post. Get it through, there we go. And work your treble crochet. And then double crochet in the next. Front post treble in the next stitch in that treble crochet from row 4. And again double crochet in the next. So basically whenever you're working the double crochets, you work it into the single crochet. Whenever you're working the front post trebles, you're working those into the row before the last single crochet row. Here's another braid. Find that middle stitch. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to skip this one and start right here with my front post treble crochet. and again in the next stitch. And then here's my skip stitch. That's the next one I'm going to work into. So yarn over twice and crossing my hook in front of the stitches I just made. Work my front post treble. And double crochet in the next single crochet. Front post treble here in this next stitch. Double crochet in the next. Yep, there we go. And here's our last braid of the row. So yarn over twice, skip this first front post treble and work into the next one. And then again in the next stitch. And then work your front post treble into the skip stitch. So now we're at our last 3 stitches of the row. I'm going to have another double crochet, double crochet, front post treble in that treble crochet from row 4, and then double crochet in the last. And then so for the next row we're going to work another row of single crochet across. I'm going to chain 1, turn, and single crochet across. So that is pretty much the row repeats for the cable braided stitch. You'll just be repeating rows 4 and 5, so working that row of front post trebles and then a row of single crochet until it's the length that you are looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more rows so you can see what it looks like worked up a little bit bigger. So here I have repeated rows 4 and 5 a few more times so you can get a good look as to what this stitch looks like when it's all worked up. And it just creates such a pretty braid. I've used this stitch for a beanie, I've used it for a sweater. I think it'd be really pretty for a blanket. Just keep in mind that it's one-sided. It'd be a gorgeous cowl, so many things, and it's just that simple 2-row repeat. It is definitely one of the easier crochet cable patterns. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me and we'll see you next time.